Well, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu was among the first global leaders to congratulate Donald Trump after he all but won the U.S. elections. Netanyahu called Trump's triumph history's greatest comeback. Netanyahu's office released a statement saying that Trump's historic return to the White House offers a new beginning for America and a powerful recommitment to the great alliance between Israel and America. Israel is currently at war with Hamas and Hezbollah in Lebanon. Netanyahu had sparred with the Biden administration over his handling of the conflict. This is after Biden administration had threatened to cut U.S. military aid to Israel if it did not allow a surge of humanitarian aid to Gaza. Netanyahu had made little secret of his hopes for a Trump return. Speaking at a rally in Pennsylvania last month, Trump had criticized Biden for telling Netanyahu to hold back against Hamas and Iran. All right, let's talk to Dr. Farshid Bagherian from Tehran. He is a political analyst at the West Asia Studies Center. Mr. Bagherian, good to see you, and thank you very much for joining us at this hour. First of all, what do you think about Trump's victory speech?
Thank you very much. The honor is mine. Let's talk about the new era that we are approaching right now, because after the election of the American people by electing Mr. Trump as a new president, something is going to be changed. I believe that the first step is till 21st of January, Mr. Biden will be still the president of the United States of America. But I believe that Mr. Biden and with his administration may not no longer keep on trying to make a peace process in Gaza, because there would be no fruitful for the Democrats. And the Republican, right about with Mr. Trump, they are trying to offer a new doctrine to the world that we are not pursuing war, and we are trying to spread over the peace all around the world. Maybe this is some metaphysical or maybe based on idealism, but I believe that we
seem to have lost Mr. Bagherian. We'll have him back again at this hour. But there's so many leaders who are congratulating Donald Trump. We have the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. We have the Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. We have the French President Emmanuel Macron. And we have El Salvador President Nayib Bukele, who are all congratulating Donald Trump on his win. This election has not yet been called, but Donald Trump says he is in the lead because most of the votes have gone to the Senate and have gone to the Congress, because the Republican is emerging victorious, or is emerging ahead of the Democrats. And we are yet to hear from
has called Georgia officially for Donald J.
All right, so these are some of the celebrations from Florida, where Trump did make his victory speech moments ago, and America is waking up to a new dawn of Donald J. Trump returning to the White House. He says that he will unify the country. He says that he will make America great again. He says that he will work towards democracy and freedom for the United States. Bagherian is back. Bagherian, you were talking about some of the policies that Mr. Trump will be having on West Asia. There's so many hopes in West Asia of a Trump victory. Probably you can explain that to our viewers. Why is it so important for West Asia by having Trump? Mr. Bagherian?
Yeah.
Mr. Bagarian? Mr. Bagarian, can you hear me?
Yeah.
You can hear me?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was asking you, now that
I got a question.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Carry on.
Oh, thank you very much. So I'm talking about that. If the war machine of United States is trying to be stopped during the Mr. Trump era or not, and the main factor for the West Asia is the peace process for the Gaza or Lebanon and maybe Iran and the other countries or on the or spread all around the region. But the main factor is Mr. Trump, after the first speech of his victory, announced that we are trying to keep peace process with Iran, and Iran is the main item. Not only is a new initiative, not only for Mr. Trump, but only for the Democrats. I believe that. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Carry on.
Yeah, thank you very much. I believe that Mr. Trump must be honest, must be enough honest to stay on his word that I'm not trying, I have no initiative to spread the war. So the war in itself is an important thing, an important matter for all people in the West Asia, not only in Asia, even for India and China, because we are suffering from something like embargo, like war, some hunger, some food nationalism, some other thing, because the war right now is not only in the region, because in the north part of the region, for example, between Ukraine and Russia, what will be the next step for the Russia if the Russia is accepting the peace process with Mr. Trump with one call, as Mr. Trump said? So I don't believe that. I don't believe that the 100% Mr. Trump would reach the peace all around the West Asia, because as I told you that the neocons against the polycons will produce much more machine gun, much more armaments, much more military bases. So I cannot accept that the Mr. Trump can finish the war process with one ring to Mr. Biden or Mr. Netanyahu. Besides, the Mr. Netanyahu itself during the counting of the votes on of the last night election changed the cabinet and make it the cabinet with new doctrine. And this doctrine is offensive, not defensive. This is the most important thing that happened last night. Thank you. I'm ready for your next question.
Mr. Bagarian, I just want to get it right from you. You are really not confident of a Trump presidency going forward because you think that Trump may delay some of his policies when it comes to West Asia, when it comes to the war in Europe.
Exactly.
Why is that so? Why is that so?
Because the survival matter and the initiative for the survival of the United States, it depends on the military products and to produce war, because this is realism. And Mr. Trump is not coming from Mars and another planet. Mr. Trump is living in this planet, on this soil, because we have three types of the elitism in the United States. One is Capitol Hill, and the other is the Pentagon, and the third one is Wall Street. Pentagon and Wall Street together make the decision. They are the decision maker, and they are game maker for spreading the war all around the world. So I cannot believe that Mr. Trump can stand against these powers. I mean, I'm talking about the elitism of the United States. So I'm not trying to discriminate the Mr. Trump. No, Mr. Trump has no power, because remember that Mr. Trump, 2 months before, maybe more than 2 months before, from this court to another court, every other week he has his own court. And the penalty for the first court was more than $450 million. And Mr. Trump was not able to pay for that.
Right.
Didn't pay for that. Somebody else paid for Mr. Trump. So for this reason, Mr. Trump can start the war. Unfortunately. Yeah.
Mr. Bagarian, it's a very interesting point that you make.
Yeah.
I just want to prod you a little bit more, because until January next year, that's when Trump gets to the office. Do you think that President Joe Biden, in his current term, before he finishes his current term, he will be able to like change the axis, you know, bring these wars to an end? Do you think he has that time, he has that flexibility?
I believe that Mr. Biden, not for himself, but for the sake of the Democrats, must bring some people to the peace process table. Why? Because Mr. Biden is trying to do that because if some assassination happened, for example, in the United States, again, Mr. Trump, it would be some new process by changing the Constitution of the United States, maybe some new kind of the election, I mean, preemptive election, it can be foreseen. So Mr. Biden trying to make people sit down to the peace process table just for the Democrats.
Just for the sake of the Democrats. All right, I think we'll have to leave it there. I've been talking to Dr. Farshid Bagherian. He's a political analyst at the West Asia Studies Center. He's live in Tehran. Mr. Bagherian, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much for talking to us today.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the invitation. Have a good day. Bye.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.